Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, student. Okay, now I will explain on the completion procedure, meaning that what is the action that need to be taken after the completion of the project. Okay, so the first thing first, when the project is completed, okay, the contractor will request for the certificate of practical completion. Okay, so the first step that the resident engineer have to do is he or she have to respond to the application so he has to inform SO SO is the superintendent officer, meaning that the manager on site and then arrange the full inspection of the work as they stand. So the resident engineer has to prepare the list of deficiencies so that he have to compile two sections. First is the outstanding work. Number 2 is the defect. So the resident engineer have to compile and stated what is the outstanding work and what is the defect that the contractor have to repair. Okay, and then complete checklist is available to pass to the SO and the contractor Okay, and then the resident engineer must review its content and recommend to the SO whether the project are sufficient and satisfactorily completed to warrant and prepare the certification prepare the certificate of partial completion. And then number 2, or the contractor still have to do the remedial work or further completion of the project as required So the resident engineer is the engineer, the lead engineer, lead supervision engineer on site. So he have to advise SO whether the work is sufficient enough, satisfied enough to warrant the certificate, or the contractor still need to do the remedial work or complete all the project. Only then they will consider to warrant the certificate. So once the project completed, so the first thing first is the completion check pre-completion check. Okay, right. And then second one, qualification for completion. In coming to the decision as whether the project is ready for the certificate of practical completion or the completion certificate, so it is not necessary that every nut and bolt to be placed, but the project should be suitable state for occupation by government or client, and used by the public at large without inconvenience or hazard. Okay, so the resident engineer and also the SO have to make sure the project is be able to occupy and didn't cause any hazard or inconvenience. So not necessarily all the project completed but they have to make sure before issue issuing the certificate of practical completion, they have to make sure the building or the structure is able to occupied by the client or the government lah. Only then they can issue the certificate of practical completion. So the value of complete work should be at least 90% of the estimated final contract sum. So meaning that the project need to complete at least 95%. Only then they can issue the certificate of practical completion. Alright. And then number 3 is handover process lah. So before certificate of practical completion or completion certificate is issued, it is normal to arrange for acceptance of the project to be signified by maintenance authority. So meaning that before they issue certificate of practical completion, so they have to call the maintenance authority, because once the project is completed, the maintenance authority will take over the project. So they have to do all the maintenance work lah. So that's why before they issue the practical certificate of practical completion, the maintenance authority have to accept the project first. So once they're willing to accept, only then they can issue the certificate lah, certificate of practical completion. For this purpose, a joint site inspection is arranged with the contractor and the engineers and officer of maintaining authority, as which they later have to have the opportunity to draw attention to any item they consider to be incomplete or unacceptable. So meaning that before they issue the certificate, they will arrange a site inspection first. So during the site inspection, the maintenance authority will mention lah, or they will check the incomplete or unacceptable work lah. So if they satisfied with all the work, only then they can issue the practical completion. The reason why is then after the project completion, the maintenance authority have to accept the project. They have to do the maintenance. So that's why before they issue the certificate, they have to really make sure all the project is complete lah, or acceptable. If not, there will be a problem to the authority lah to carry out with the maintenance. So that's why they have to agree and satisfied with all the work. Only then they can issue the certificate. If the engineer agrees that item are properly subject to rectification under the contract, he will include them in his list of deficiencies prepared for the contractor. Because after they issue the certificate of practical completion, on the date that they issue the certificate, the defect liability period will be started lah. So that's why if during the site inspection they find out any work which is incomplete, so they have to list down lah, the rectification work, so that during the DLP, defect liability period, the contractor need to rectify all the works. Only then they can issue the total complete certificate lah. which we call it making good defect, certificate. Alright, I will explain later on. Okay. Alright, certificate of completion again. So when an engineer is satisfied that the suitable state of completion has been achieved, and has obtained the contractor understanding, to complete the under outstanding remedial work, the certificate of practical completion should be prepared. So I did explain this one. Okay, and then the last one, the condition in a condition of the contract required the certificate to be issued within 21 days, of the to the contractor, once they get the notice or request from the contractor lah, okay, or within 21 days of his making good any defect required by the engineer for substantial completion. Okay, so meaning that within 21 days, once after contractor request for the certificate, the SO have to issue the certificate lah. Alright. So that is the condition that stated or mentioned in the contract. So after 21 days, the certificate has to be issued lah, to the contractor. Okay. Alright. Okay, now we move to defect liability maintenance period. Okay. So the contractor does not end with the contract does not end with the certificate of practical completion. Alright. And some member of the supervision team are usually retained, to oversee work executed during defect liability or maintenance period, which start on the date of the certificate. Okay. At that time, the resident engineer or other officer assigned with continuing site responsibility for the contract should agree with the contractor, with the contractor program, for period, and resources of plant and labor, will be required lah. So the contractor program of maintenance should be based on dealing with the list of these deficiencies appended to the certificate of practical completion. Okay, so there's a lot of sentence here, so I will explain one by one. Okay, so as I mentioned, the contract does not end after they issue the certificate of practical completion. So once they issue as I mentioned, once they issue the certificate of practical completion, the defect liability period will be started lah. Okay, so the some of the supervision team have to retain to supervise the maintenance work during DLP, defect liability period, DLP. Okay, so the resident engineer or other officer which assign during DLP, they have to agree with the contractor program lah. Okay. Within the stipulated period for DLP. Okay. And then the contractor program of maintenance should be based on dealing with the deficiency appended to the certificate. Okay, so when they issue the certificate of practical completion, yeah, they will list down the deficiencies or defect that which the contractor need to be rectified lah during DLP. So during this DLP period, yeah, the contractor have to deal and solve all the deficiencies lah. Yeah. Okay. Okay, next is the certificate of maintenance completion. Okay, the certificate of completion of making good defect or maintenance completion, yeah, and unlike the certificate of practical completion, yeah, does signify ultimate acceptance of the work. Okay, so once they issue the certificate of completion of making good defect, they call it CMGD, certificate of completion of making good defect, CMGD. Okay, meaning that the project or the contract is ultimately accepted lah. Yeah, meaning that they have to accept all the works. Only then, meaning that all the works and the maintenance works already fully done. Only then they can issue the CMGD. Okay, therefore, the greatest important that any defect remaining towards the end of the defect liability period are identified and put right before the certificate is issued. Yeah, so before they issue the CMGD, yeah, they have to make sure all the defects has been repaired. Yeah, only then they can issue CMGD. Okay, so once they issue CMGD, meaning that the project is fully accepted lah, yeah, and then the project will be hand over to maintenance authority. Alright. Okay, the work of compiling a final list of deficiencies should be start approximately 2 months before the nominal end of the period lah. So meaning before 2 months before end of the DLP period, yeah, so they have to compile the final list lah of deficiencies. Yeah. Okay, when all remedial work or outstanding work has been completed to satisfaction of SO, the CMGD, yeah, to be prepared. Okay. So during the DLP period, yeah, they have to make sure, yeah, 2 months before end of the DLP, they have to collect or check again, yeah, make sure all the remedial work or defect work have been done properly lah. Yeah, only then they can prepare the CMGD. Okay, in condition of the contract, yeah, which required the certificate to be issued within 28 days, yeah, of the end of the maintenance period or date of completion of required defect work. Okay, so the SO have to make sure, yeah, the CMGD, yeah, the certificate should be issued 28 days after the LP. Yeah, so about within a month, yeah, 28 days lah, 28 days, not a month, 28 days, the SO have to make sure, yeah, the CMGD issued to the contractor lah, yeah. So that one is stated in the contract. Alright. Okay, that's all. Yeah. So that is the procedure that you need to comply. Yeah. after the completion of the project. Yeah, so thank you student for listening to the lecture. Okay, see you in the next video. Bye bye. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.